From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hi to Jenn Bostic. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very me chat to you today. So, can you tell me how long have you been a singer songwriter for?
Wow, I've been writing songs since I was 10 years old, so a long time. We don't have to date me. But I've been a professional musician right out of college around 2008, and it's been my full-time thing since then. Songwriting really started for me after losing my dad in a car accident. Unfortunately, it really became the therapy that got me through that experience and continues to be the therapy that gets me through many challenges in life. And a lot of times I'm writing songs that, I need to help encourage and inspire me to move forward. And it's been a really beautiful thing to see that that's how audiences connect with my songs as well, that it then can become a an anthem for them as well, an encouragement.
So, what was it like going into the recording studio when you recorded your debut album?
So I recorded my debut album at a studio called Starstruck. It is owned by Reba McEntire in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a country pop album called Keep Looking for Love, and it was in 2009. Recorded it with a dear friend named Charlie Hutto, and it was magical. It was Nashville session musicians who you go in and you play the song, one time through, and they're charting it as they're listening, and then it gets recorded three, maybe four times with the band, and it's perfect because they're that amazing, that talented. So that to me was really mind blowing just to see how fast the process works and how a song that starts, with maybe just acoustic guitar and vocal or piano and vocal can then just within moments become this fully produced, beautiful full band sound. So that really opened up my eyes to developing a song as well. I think I kind of had those elements in my mind working on the records that came after. But that first experience, I had stars in my eyes and it was just a beautiful, almost shocking experience to see it come to life.
So, was it like to release your debut single called No Yet?
I'm sorry,
Released a debut single, didn't you, called No Yet?
not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't the debut, but I did release that single after the success of Jealous of the Angels. It was the follow-up single. And yes, that song's about not giving up on a dream. And I was incredibly humbled to see that it found its way to the BBC Radio 2 A-list, which was crazy to me. So just here having an audience, for that song right away was such a gift. And for me, that song really was to kind of pick me back up and say, this dream is hard. Chasing any dream is hard, but to know and believe that that's your calling, that that's what you're meant to do with your life, and then to keep following it one foot in front of the other, even if it doesn't look the way you might think it would. Just to know that, okay, I'm promising myself I'm not giving up on this. That was the heart of the song, and so I'm really grateful that other people, could find some encouragement and inspiration through that as well.
So, going to move on now to your second album that you released called Jealous. So, can you tell me more about that?
Yes. Jealous was the album that as you mentioned, it came after Keep Looking for Love. And after I had released that pop country album, I had a lot of record label meetings and management meetings, and the general consensus is that I was too pop for country and too country for pop. And that has been a continued theme that I don't fit into any genre box, but to hear it for the first time was a little bit heartbreaking to know that, oh, okay, this isn't going to work the way I thought it was. This isn't going to be point A to point B to point C. And I'm really grateful for that feedback and for the time I had to really just sit with those emotions and feelings. And it helped me remember why I started writing songs in the first place, which, like I said at the beginning of this interview, was my therapy. It was to help me work through the loss of my dad and work through anything that would come up in my heart. And through that, I really stepped back into that place when I went to record my second album. And I wrote about what happened with my dad with two dear friends of mine, Zach Runquist and Jimmy Fortune. And, that song was never meant to be performed live or even recorded. It was just something I needed to write to heal. And then, to my surprise, I was performing it in a writer's round in Nashville where I live. And I had no intention to perform it, but as it was almost my turn to play in this writer's round, I just had this overwhelming sense that I was meant to play that song in a way that I can't really describe. And a woman came up to me after the show and she said, "I lost my dad 2 days ago. I know that you played that song for me tonight. Thank you." And in that moment, just something in my heart shifted that if this song about my dad, could somehow have brought comfort and hope to one person, even one person, then I wanted to share it. And so recorded it, filmed a music video for it. It found its way all over the radio in England a few months later. And it has just been an incredible journey ever since. I got to perform it at the Royal Albert Hall in December of 2024 with Katherine Jenkins. And it's just all of these dreams have come true through it. I've gotten to sing it at the Grand Ole Opry and the Ryman Auditorium. And it does feel that it's almost as if I'm experiencing these things with my dad, since the song is about him and losing him and that pain. But I've also heard just countless stories from others that have connected with this song and that it has helped them through their grief. And that is so humbling. It means so much to me. And the song is something bigger than I can take credit for. I believe that God gave us that song that day, and I'm just honored to share it.
So you also released a single called I Love You All the Time. Play it for the Forward campaign. So can you tell me more about that?
Yes, that was a long time ago. Man, I don't even remember the recording process of that. You're bringing up some really old stuff. But I do remember doing it, and I remember it coming out, and yeah, that I'm thankful that I got to be a part of it for sure.
So I'm going to move on now. I know you've done released some singles with Brian Sutherland. So can you tell me how did that come about?
Yeah, Brian is a dear friend of mine. He started by playing cello for me in kind of a trio setting, and we've done a lot of touring together, done some writing together. We do writers' rounds in Nashville together. We're just dear friends. And as we kind of started playing together, there was an opportunity I had to perform a few songs for a filming, and they asked me to do one cover song. And if I'm honest and transparent, I kind of forgot about the cover song until the night before. And we were rehearsing, and I said, "Oh, wow, we need to do a cover song as well. How about we do a duet? How about we feature your vocal as well?" Because he has an incredible voice. And so we did a cover of Vanessa Carlton's Thousand Miles. And it was very quick, just did it and recorded it as well, just a little acoustic version, and put it up on Spotify. And to our surprise, it took off and now has over 3 million streams. And we did a few others like that, but none really latched on the way that did. But it was really fun to kind of reimagine some of these favorite 90s covers that we both loved so much. And we haven't done one for a while, but we do a lot of collaborating still.
So you released an album called You Find a Way. So can you tell me more about that album?
Yeah, that is a contemporary Christian album. I have been a worship leader my whole life, a believer my whole life. And my dear friend Lauren Christie, who is an incredible hit songwriter, Grammy nominated producer. She's responsible for writing Complicated and Skater Boy for Avril Lavigne, and just pop hit after hit after hit. And I met her shortly after the success of Jealous of the Angels. And she and I just had this instant sisterhood, this synergy creating together. And she was so kind of took me under her wing. We worked together for a few years, and in 2018, she reached out and she said, "Hey, I've had a lot of success in the pop world, and I really just want to do an album for God. And every time I pray about it, he puts you on my heart. So would you pray about doing something like that together?" And it was honestly an answer to a prayer I had already prayed. And so it was really just a special couple of years we spent just writing from the heart. A lot of those writing sessions started as almost a devotional and just what was really going on in our heart and how the Lord was working in us. And the songs, came from that and were so powerful to us. We didn't think about, what's on Christian radio or anything like that. It was just, what song do we want to write that we really love? And it was supposed to come out in 2020, Easter of 2020. I was actually on tour over in the UK in March of 2020. Had to cancel half my dates and fly home early because we all know what happened. We ended up holding the record, and I'm really thankful now that we did that because we had a chance to add a song called Too Grateful. And it really did sum up the why behind why this record was really recorded and written and put out into the world. And it's truly because Lauren and I have just seen God's fingerprints all over our life, and we're just too grateful to stay silent about that.
So can you remember the first song that was called this year called Kingdom?
Yes, so I did release a song called Kingdom this past year, and that song was written with two friends of mine, Michael Farron and Maria Rote, and it was written on a retreat actually in Washington, the state of Washington. There was a retreat through Centricity Music, an incredible Christian label in the U.S., and a lot of artists and writers get together in one place to, write songs that are on their heart. And it was a really beautiful environment where it just felt really safe and really free to unpack some deeply rooted ideas with like-minded hearts and minds. And so that's what we did with that song. I think that a lot of times we can start out with anything, no matter where somebody's, background of faith is. We can start out with the best of intentions. And as we go along, all of a sudden we find ourselves concerned with the number of likes or the number of views or followers or, who's looking at this, who's watching this. And it becomes about something else. And for me, it's really important that the focus remain on God and on my faith. And I think sometimes in that distraction, I think it's really important for me to be honest about, okay, this isn't what I started out. This isn't how I started when all of this isn't the heart I had when I started. So let's go ahead and refocus and get our mind back to where it belongs.
So can you tell me more about your latest EP called Love You Right?
Yes, Love You Right is a really fun, horns heavy, throwback soul pop EP, 5 songs. I wrote it with a crew called Hook House, my dear friends Ben Hurd, Katrina Stone, and Jay Denton. The EP was written for television and film. So we wrote it and recorded it with the intention that you would hopefully hear it on, the next romantic comedy movie or reality TV show. And, when we first started recording it, my son was 4 months old, and it was mom's day out in the studio. I had a chance to, get out of the house and remember that I'm a musician and get to just create and play. And that was really beautiful. And to be able to do it with such close friends was very special. And when we started recording it, we didn't really know if we would release it under my name or if it would come out as an alias, because we didn't know if it would fit the genre of my Spotify. However, I have many genres across my Spotify, and as it got closer to the release, it just felt like a really fun, lighthearted, joyful project to release. And so it is now available, and it is so much fun. We recorded a bunch of promo things together as well, so you can actually see some of the creators behind the project on all of my platforms as well. And I'm really grateful I got a chance to tour the project in the UK and looking forward to touring it in the US as well.
So are you going to be working on any new music in the near future?
Always working on new music. I recorded 5 songs at the end of last year that I'll be working on throughout the year to finish out the production for. Hopefully they might make their way into the world by autumn of this year, if not early next. But I'm really grateful that I get to continue to make music.
So I know you've been touring in UK. So you got up and coming gigs coming in America soon?
Yes, on the 6th of March, I'm going to be performing at the Listening Room Cafe in Nashville, which is one of my favorite spots. And I'll be with some dear friends, Jeff Cohen and Emily Shackleton. And I have some dates in Florida lined up for the few weekends following that. And in May and June, I really kind of kick off the Love You Right acoustic US tour.
So, can you tell me, what's it like being an independent artist?
I'm really thankful to be independent, especially with I have a now two-year-old at home, and he is kind of my focus for sure. And so being independent allows me to make my own schedule. It allows me to spend time with him during the days and to write or record in the evenings. And if I were with a label, I might not be able to have that flexibility. And also touring, I get to tour the way I want to, the places I want to, and it really is great for me in this season. And the fact that I do have many genres in what I do, it gives me that freedom as well to not have to focus so much on one box or another.
So, finally, can you tell listeners, when can they find you on your social media?
I am all over the social media platforms. I do my best to stay active. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Most of the tags are just Jenn Bostic, but if you do Jenn Bostic or Jenn Bostic Music, you'll find me.
I'm thinking of be chatting to you today.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.